Hello, this is Jam Master Daniel 96, and in today's video I will be reviewing Chapter 5 of The Mandalorian, The Gunslinger, and there will be spoilers in this video, just to give you the warning, and I'll link the playlist for you to watch the first 4 episode reviews for The Mandalorian, and with that all out of the way, let's get started. Well, pretty much our episode starts off with the Mandalorian in a dogfight with another ship, and then pretty much the ship shoots him, and then the Mandalorian comes at and then turns the ship around and then shoots the person that shoots him, and then pretty much the Mandalorian looks that they're low on fuel and stuff, and then they go to Tatooine. So finally, we get to revisit Tatooine at last, and so we get a nice revisit to Tatooine, and then that's pretty much the main setting of this episode, and so pretty much he lands in one of the spaceports. Then he pretty much tries to shoot one of the droids, and the repair lady isn't happy with him trying to shoot the droids. Then she, pretty much he gives her some Imperial credits, and then the Mandalorian goes to the cantina, and then he pretty much talks to the bartender there, and then we are introduced to the bounty hunter, the rookie bounty hunter named Toro, which, pretty much the Mandalorian will, team up with, and then they pretty much go after an assassin named Fennec, which is a woman. They go after, and then Mandalorian goes back to the hangar with his ship and all that. So we get to, see that. So pretty much he goes back to the hangar, and then he meets back up with Toro, which is the character he'll be with the majority of this episode. And so they pretty much go on speeders, and then they go, pretty much through the sand dunes of Tatooine, and then they pretty much, see Tusken Raiders in this. So we get to see some Tusken Raiders in this episode, and then pretty much the Mandalorian does these little hand signals that he is negotiating with the Tusken Raiders. Then he gives Toro's binoculars to the Sand People. Then they go off, and then they find a dewback that is dragging a dead body. And then the Mandalorian goes up to it, and then he sees the dead body and sees the tracker, and then Fennec shoots the Mandalorian. Then the Mandalorian runs back, and then the Mandalorian tells Toro that they have to wait till dark to go off and stuff. So they pretty much in the spot until dark, and then the Mandalorian and Toro go on the speeders. Then they go off on the speeders, and then to go find Fennec. Then they use these things they use in the sky to blind Fennec, with her sniper. So it's kind of a good way that they can blind the shooter, so they don't have a good target to shoot. And then in the process, Fennec shoots the Mandalorian speeder, and then Toro goes up to Fennec, gets Fennec from behind, and then Toro and Fennec fight, and then the Mandalorian comes in, and they cuff Fennec. Then pretty much, Toro and the Mandalorian, talk about who's gonna go get the dewback, and then Toro waits with Fennec, and then all that while the Mandalorian is getting the dewback. Pretty much Toro and Fennec have a talk, and then by the end of it, of their talk by dawn and stuff, Toro shoots Fennec, that because Fennec also tells about the thing about the baby, how he pretty much went off, how the Mandalorian took the baby Yoda, which is pretty much a thing to the third episode, and then pretty much Toro shoots Fennec, and then Fennec is dead. then the Mandalorian comes back and then sees, Toro is left, and then we see Fennec's dead body. Then pretty much the Mandalorian comes to the spaceport, and then, pretty much Toro has, pretty much like he's holding the Baby Yoda character. Then there's the repair lady at the spaceport, and then pretty much the Mandalorian and Toro have an encounter, and then pretty much the Mandalorian, where Toro tells the repair lady to cuff the Mandalorian, then the Mandalorian uses that light thing, that flashlight thing they use, that they were using for Fennec, but then he uses it on Toro, to blind his shot and stuff, and then the Mandalorian kills Toro, and then pretty much, that's that. And then the Baby Yoda character goes off and hides, and then pretty much the Mandalorian and the repair lady find the Baby Yoda character, and then pretty much the Mandalorian's got his ship together, which, he's got his own ship all fixed, and then he leaves the planet. Then the lady tells the droids to drag Toro's dead body and all that. And then the last shot really caught my attention, like the final shot of the Mandalorian, as, we see Fennec's dead body on the ground, and it's the bit that gets you questioning, like, is this the Mandalorian going up to Fennec's dead body, or could this be Boba Fett? Which I think it is possible that they could be building up to Boba Fett in this series, in this season, and I think it was a possibility. I mean, because when you look at it, I mean, there's a cape which makes you want to think it's the Mandalorian because it is someone in Mandalorian armor. And then the second possibility is, could it be Boba Fett? And this is, set after Return of the Jedi, so it is possible that Boba Fett maybe could have survived the Sarlacc pit, and I know, he did in the expanded universe, so, I mean, it's possible in the new canon, and then even in, I've read the first two Aftermath books, and they did talk about that they did find Mandalorian armor on Tatooine, so, I mean, it is possible that Boba Fett did survive the Sarlacc pit, and I do think that raises the question. I mean, that was, I'd say, the big takeaway of this episode is that final shot, like, because, it is a person in Mandalorian armor. I mean, we don't see the full body, which, to me, it's making me wonder, could it be the Mandalorian? Maybe he's going to investigate something? Or could it be Boba Fett? I mean, as I think Boba Fett could possibly be maybe pulling the strings in this series. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, can't wait to see where it all goes, and then that is something interesting to think about. And then maybe, Boba Fett, as I said, he'll be maybe a guy pulling the strings, and then maybe he'll play a bigger role in season 2, and then that's pretty much a little speculation, so a discussion for another time. And my thoughts on the episode, I mean, I'd say this episode was fine for me, and definitely, it felt good to revisit Tatooine, and the last shot that I did, that last final shot I just talked about is probably, the big takeaway of this episode, because it raises the questions and all that. And that's pretty much all I gotta say in this video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think down below, and I'll catch you guys next time with another video. May the Force be with you. Bye.